Welcome. So, one of the things that we have to talk about is human and non human planning challenges, which basically means that planning and making plans for environmental use involve humans, and humans do a lot of things to the environment that can be a problem. And humans also have problems with other humans. So, one thing that we've learned in our class is participatory action research, which is involving the community in an environmental or any type of choice, but in our case, environmental choices. And one thing that can be a challenge with that is like people don't always want to participate. Not everyone can be heard. It's hard to like actually get the opinions of many in one survey or focus group. Resources and budget, money is hard, and actually having money to be able to do an environmental change for a lot of us would be hard to get funding or grants. So that can be one challenge with planning. And planning for spaces to be used by humans, but making sure that we're not hurting the environment in the process is a hard balance to make, because a lot of the environment that we take up and the space that we take up, we may use as a need, but we also have to make sure that we're not destroying the environment in the process, and also make sure that we're watching like water quality, we're watching spaces around us, we're watching like what trees we're affecting, what soil we're affecting. Like it all depends on the space that we're using and how we're utilizing it. And after we make our beautiful project, you have to make sure it works. So a lot of it has to do with monitoring and keeping up with it after, so that when you go back, there's not grass growing out of your brand new sidewalk, or people are actually using it and there's not like cracks everywhere, dead space.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to take up in more environment than we need to. So a lot of that comes with human planning challenges.
And some of the more non-human planning challenges includes environmental trade-offs. So, for example, dams are a sort of a type of environmental trade-off. They benefit society by providing electricity through hydroelectric power. They also create lakes for recreational areas, but also for drinking water, things like that. But they destroy ecosystems and basically change. They can affect the natural plants and animals in the area in maybe negative ways and push them out of their habitats. Additionally, impervious surfaces are something that are a concern, especially on Guilford's campus. Impervious surfaces are basically like concrete, asphalt, different things like that, like roofs, different things that make it difficult for the water to get into, like rainwater, to get into the soil and get back into the groundwater. Next would be like disrupting, I sort of mentioned this earlier, but disrupting existing ecosystems. When you build something, you have to be careful you're not just tearing up like a beaver dam, or taking down like an oak tree that is housing a specific type of bird or something like that. Another thing is managing runoff. Runoff has a number of different effects on water quality, including increasing erosion and increasing turbidity. Turbidity is the amount of particulate matter, so like soils in water. And so the more soils that are kind of mixed up into water, the less able animals are able to live in that environment. Runoff can also bring in phosphates and nitrates off farms and like lawns, things like that. And those are nutrients that are good for plants, but not, there can be a point where they're too good, basically, where they overflood the system and lead to eutrophication, which is the process of algae eating all these nitrates and phosphates and basically suffocating everything else in the water, because they completely just block out all the sun and all the dissolved oxygen from the water. So it's really important to be thinking about all the different effects of not only of having whatever installation or structure, but also what construction is going to do and how that's going to affect the soil and water and plants and animals and all that.